Hey guys, this is Steliafi with Close.io. Let me share with you the number one secret that makes Y Combinator the most successful startup incubator around the world and probably the center of the entrepreneurial universe right now. I was talking to a guy the other day that is about to start an incubator somewhere in Europe. And he was asking me about my experience at Y Combinator. You know, Close.io went through Y Combinator at the beginning of 2011. Kind of the experience that we made, the things we learned, was it really worth it? Is it really as great as everybody says? You know, these questions that if you're a YC alumni, you hear all the time. And he asked me what I thought was the number one secret why Y Combinator is so successful. You know what I told him? To me, the reason why Y Combinator is so successful is I've experienced something in that network that I've never seen before, and something that's quite powerful, although it's simple. Yes, of course, it's Paul Graham's genius, and of course, it's the quality of the partners and the quality of the founders, and it's that self-fulfilling prophecy effect of the better the founders, the more amazing founders want to come to the system. And it kind of perpetuates on itself and becomes more and more and more valuable and successful. There's many, many reasons beyond even my understanding of why Y Combinator is where it is today. But for me, the core reason is trust. I'll say it again. The core reason why Y Combinator is the Harvard of entrepreneurship and is way above and ahead of anyone else in this game is trust. Here's what the experience was that I had the very first day when you get accepted to Y Combinator. I think a week or two later, at least it was that way in 2011, you came in for one day to do some preparation, some organizational stuff that told you how the batch, how the classes would run, how everything would go and happen. And then I think there was a month in between that first kickoff meeting and Y Combinator actually starting with the then current batch. That first day, two things happened that kind of shifted my perspective on Y Combinator and shifted, I think, everybody's perception of it and influenced us greatly. Number one, PG said, the very first thing I think he said was, he had all the founders in the room and he looked at everybody and he said, listen guys, you are now officially part of Y Combinator. There's nothing that you can do or say or happen to you that will make us change our minds. If anything horrible happens to you, if you fight with your co-founder and something dramatically bad happens, come to us first. That's why we are here. That's the only reason we exist. We want to be there for you when things go down, and believe us, no matter how catastrophic it seems to you, we've seen this before and we're more likely than not going to be able to help you. There's no way that we'll turn our backs to you. You're now part of the family. And even thinking about it today, like, it gives me goosebumps because I remember the shift that in my mind happened at that moment of thinking, wow, now I'm part of this organization and I'm not going to be abandoned if my startup doesn't go amazing or if I have a problem or an issue. And as an entrepreneur, you always shield all the internal problems from the world, and that more often than not includes investors as well, which is a really bad idea. So that was one moment that was like an aha, wow, there's nothing that I can do that's screwed up so much that I have to hide it from Y Combinator. I can share all my problems with them. And actually, they welcome these problems and they want me to come to them with their problems. And still to this day, whenever we had a big issue or big problem, YC was the first partner we went to before we told anybody else. The second thing that happened was that PG told us about these weekly dinners where they're going to bring in amazing personalities from Silicon Valley to share their experiences, their thoughts, to answer any kind of questions to the founders, and at the end, maybe mingle with a founder or two. They call Tuesday dinners, right? So every Tuesday they would give us food, feed us, have us mingle with our batch mates and other founders and show them our progress and catch up with them. And then actually sit down, and while we having dinner, we would listen to an amazing icon of entrepreneurship, people like Mark Zuckerberg, Mark Andreessen, just amazing CEOs, amazing investors. Give a quick talk, maybe go through some Q&A, and then mingle with us. And the thing that PG said is that whenever these guys come and give a talk, it's completely off limits, off air, it's secret, no tweeting about it, no Facebook sharing about it, no writing blog posts about it. Anything these speakers share with us is in private and it is not to be shared. And the reason why that is because that gives these speakers the comfort of actually sharing true stories, not the PR story of things, but actually truthful, the ups and downs and some secrets and some real war stories and even things about other companies, investors, or other participants in the game that were negative. And the only reason why these speakers feel comfortable sharing these things is because they know they can trust the Y Combinator network. And what he said next was really defining. He said, listen guys, for X amount of years, we've been able to maintain this circle of trust. These people come to us again and again and they share stories they never tell anyone else. And the only reason why they do that and they continue doing that is because they know they can trust us. Don't be the founder that ruins this for everyone else forever. Don't be the first guy or gal that goes out and breaks that trust and with that destroys that value so that no other founder ever in YC will be able to actually gain those insights and those stories. Don't be that person. Ooh, right? The moment he said that, you could tell everybody in the batch was like, no fucking way I'm gonna be that person. I'm not gonna say anything ever. Nobody ever wants to have that responsibility on their shoulder and be the guy that ruined it for all these other entrepreneurs. And I think that moment was kind of the moment where it really clicked and sunk in and people realized, I will not share anything ever under any circumstances. And you know what? I saw many speakers during my YC time that I saw speak multiple times at conferences. I watched their interviews. I read about their life stories in books. I thought I knew everything about them. And in every single instance, when they came through the Y Combinator door and they sat down, they told stories I'd never heard before, and they shared them with an honesty that was shocking. People that always seemed like sunshine and rainbows and everything was always just amazing sat down and told us some of the darkest stories, told us some of their biggest pains, told us some really disturbing things about other founders, employees, the investors. They shared real stories and it was really valuable. And that made me realize, wow, the only reason these people do this with Y Combinator and don't do it anywhere else is because they trust Y Combinator. They know these stories will be trusted and valued and they're helping other entrepreneurs, but they're not hurting their career because these bad stories get out there and potentially harm them in their relationship with others. So trust trumps everything. I said it before in sales, trust trumps transactions, but even in incubator, trust trumps, I don't know what, deal flow, valuations, whatever it is. You need to have a network of trust. If you want to create an incubator, you need people to trust you, your founders to trust you, as well as external people that come into the network to trust you. And I think that there's a lesson for us to learn here, no matter if you're running an incubator, if you're applying for one, you're running a business. Trust truly trumps everything else in business and in life.